Whoops. Are we on? Yes, we're on. Good morning. Hi there. This is day one, blog one. And I'm just now uploading my pitch to Patreon. And I thought, what's a good blog intro to start with? And I was just thinking, about the nature of abstraction and how it's presented in the world. And some people go, oh, with abstraction anyone could do it, a child could do it, but the whole thing about abstraction is, it's the old adage, you have to know the rules to break the rules. And then I remembered this book that I bought a couple of weeks ago. It's Paul Klee on modern art, and it's a book that I have somewhere in storage. I'm one of those awful people that will jump continents and leave stuff behind and not really sort things out. So my books are now following me around the world. But I was at a bookshop a couple of weeks ago and I saw this and I got really excited because I remember being really inspired by this book and what he talks about process. And it's so beautiful. In the introduction, this was a lecture that he delivered at the opening of an exhibition at the museum in Jena in 1924. These notes are products of his deep meditations on the problems of art, which the task of teaching had brought to a head. In my own opinion, they constitute the most profound and illuminating statement of the aesthetic basis of the modern movement in art ever made by a practicing artist. Other artists, Matisse, Picasso, and more, have given brilliant explanations of their aims, subtle revelations of their methods and meaning, but Klee is unique in the logical consistency of his exposition. He was of a metaphysical cast of mind and widely read in philosophy and science, proficient in music. All this gave him a wide range of reference and illustration. So what I wanted to just, alliterate on about art as a mean of communication, the necessity for the plastic symbols of the art of painting is to some extent dictated by the inadequacy of our linguistic means of communication. To explain art, therefore, is often an effort to give words to nameless processes, to actions otherwise confined to instinctive gestures. To explain art, that, for Klee, meant an exercise in self-analysis. He therefore tells us what happens inside the mind of the artist in the act of composition, for what purposes he uses materials, for what particular effects gives them particular definitions and dimensions. He distinguishes clearly between the different degrees or orders of reality and defends the right of the artist to create his own order of reality. But this transcendental world, he is careful to point out, can only be created if the artist obeys certain rules implicit in the natural order. The artist must penetrate to the sources of the life force, the powerhouse of all time and space. Okay, so I stumbled into this bookshop and this jumped out at me. And I've mentioned in my blog that my intention is to create a film that is precisely that, is kind of, for want of a better word, channeling something that is more powerful than us and our ego. And I think the role of the artist is to really open up that space and that trust. And that's where I see abstract art as being the direct source, because it's not contrived by our mind. So that's the beginning of the blog, and you have to bear with me because this is all new and I'm just finding my kind of interaction with the camera and the voice in the studio. But when I started on this journey for this film, it was about 4 years ago, and I'd been working in electromagnetic therapy for 8 years. 6 to 8 years, working on clients, and then I just got a really strong sense and I needed to start working on the land. So I started doing that, of just, finding places, being drawn to places, and using what I'd learned with the body, doing the same kind of practice on the land. And I've always been really drawn to natural forms in my work, and been drawing trees since I was tiny, and then this I learned art and representational, graphic design, and worked in that for a long time, and can produce things that are very similar to the original object. But part of me needed to break out, and then some years ago I just started breaking out. I got myself, I sold my car, and I got this massive box of oil sticks, and I was in America at the time, and one Volvo equaled about 20 of these really amazing oil sticks that my friends introduced me to. And I was living in this bedroom in New York, and I got this massive roll of paper and these oil sticks, and the pressure of living in that city, I just started working, and that was like my breakout. And I just let my head go somewhere else, and my heart just went. And it was the most incredible experience of my life, to not only work big and be able to work messy and work loose, and just let these forms come. And the first one was sort of, it ended up being these planets, but I didn't even judge it until it was over. And then other work evolved, and then I started realizing that my work was telling me something. It was telling me a story. It was giving me a thematic statement. It was resolving something that was so deep inside me that I couldn't even begin to articulate it. And this is something that, having moved in and out of the commercial world for years and years and years, working in animation, and then working in theater, and working big, and kind of loosening up all those muscles, but then, working with character and design, and then doing my own work, and just letting this articulation come out, because as an artist I never really gave myself that space to articulate things. I was always following a brief. So this project is also about really the desire to produce something commercial that's coming from a whole different place, but not doing it on my own, doing it with other people that have found that similar resonance of taking the conscious mind away and bringing the subconscious mind through. And this wonderful animator that I met 6 months ago, we sat down and had that conversation, and it was just really, really fantastic to meet someone who had a similar experience and vision and desire to let go of that conscious mind control. And I got really excited in meeting him, and I'm hoping to bring him into this project. And I know he's really happy, sort of, he's gone and he's doing something else now, but I'm hoping that I can bring him through, because I also feel that with art and with things like the golden mean and what some artists have worked with, there's a resonance that's created there through intention that shifts something in our cortex somewhere. It really does. And the whole advent of, not to diss fine art and where fine art has gone, but it's become very cerebral, and it's not associated with kind of the soul anymore. And I appreciate it, and I can really enjoy going to shows and feeling, where they're going and what they're trying to say. But it's like that saying for me feels a little bit contrived, and that's the same with watching film. I love film, and to watch something that has been scripted to the max and contrived, I lose my delight in the medium, and I just think the medium is so fantastic. And then when you look at films like Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli films, you get that beautiful sense of wonder and delight. And I really want to explore a process that is allowing that wonder and delight that comes from almost being kids and getting a group of kids together and going, hey, we're gonna make up this like thing, we're gonna make up this thing, and somebody says, oh, let's do that, and we do that, and we do that, and then we bring it all together and we make this really kind of wacky, beautiful, but resonant piece that so it's part of my unfulfilled 8-year-old desire to just have heaps and heaps of fun, and also make something that is also meaningful and operating on lots of different levels. So it's a it's a really big ask, but at the same time it just really, it really excites and inspires me, and I would really love to share this. I would love to share this journey with you. I've taught here and there about different levels of ways of creating things and groups, and I love to teach, and I'm finding that as a single mom and wanting to do all these different things, I can't do it all. I can't go out and teach, and I can't make art and teach and work on farms, and so I'm trying to reduce it down of how to express a lot of different things and how to share a lot of different things while I'm also doing these things. So while I'm planting and drawing and painting and talking and listening, this is a really fabulous vehicle to do it, and to have a community that's digital and international, which I love too. All my friends are all over the world, and anyway, I'm kind of like a kid now, jumping up and down, really excited. But again, here's that. This is another welcome aboard, and your support would be very